Yo guys, what's up, and I hope you're having a great day. In this video I got some big balancing changes, a nerf for Hitchhiker, Johnny and Leland, as well as a possible fuse box fix. I'm really excited to bring you guys the new patch notes for the update number 4 of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This patch is gonna roll out today at 2 PM Eastern US time. Let's get it. So first we got Hitchhiker Trap exploit. They fixed an exploit where the Hitchhiker players could use his trap to pass through walls and doors. I didn't experience this exploit myself, but it's great that they fixed it. Alright, next we got Hitchhiker Trap interaction issues. We've resolved an issue where victims would be unable to interact with gaps, crawl spaces and other elements after stepping in the Hitchhiker Trap. So this was a huge problem right now. If you place the Hitchhiker Trap on top of a ladder, after stepping in that trap, the victims would be interaction locked. They could not interact with anything, and the only choice they had was going back the ladder. So a lot of Hitchhiker players abused this, and usually this led to the victims being totally bugged and they could be killed easily. And this was a game-breaking bug and a very urgent one that they had to fix. And I'm very happy to see this bug fixed now. Next up we got a Johnny and Sissy lunch. Johnny and Sissy both had a lunch that was greater than the other family members. We've adjusted this to be more in line with the rest of the family members. This should also correct the Johnny build we're seeing used in public matches. So the build they're referring to is the speed tech build, where you use the perk Scout and easily tuckered out to be super fast, and with that perk you could swing about 16 times without running out of stamina, and each time you were swinging you would get a little speed boost. And that's why you were seeing the Johnny players like slicing in the air all the time to get a speed boost. And the developer said that with this reduction in the lunge, this problem should be fixed as well. I didn't know that Sissy had a bigger lunge as well. I wasn't aware of that, so let's see how this plays out and if Johnny and Sissy are still gonna be strong. Johnny's still gonna do a lot of damage if you get caught in the open, but he's just not gonna be super fast anymore. Next up I got a brightness cheat. Fixed an issue that would allow PC users to adjust their in-game brightness outside of accepted levels by editing game files. Wow, I just learned about this now. People who are doing this and lighting up the whole basement like a fucking Christmas tree? I mean, come on dude, that's not fair at all. And it sounds pretty good that this stuff is now fixed. Next up, Hitchhiker traps at ladder exits. We have adjusted the area at the top of the ladder where the Hitchhiker can place a trap. This still allows for strategic play, but will give victims an opportunity to counter the trap. It sounds like to me that you will not longer be able to put a trap directly at the ladder, so that when you come on the ladder, you're not immediately trapped. You still have a chance to disarm the trap. So there's probably like an area around the ladder where you cannot place the trap anymore, and that's a pretty good nerf to Hitchhiker, because Hitchhiker mains love putting traps directly on the ladders, where the victims cannot avoid them at all. So let's see how this plays out. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to a big one, the fuse box. The family can now turn the fuse box off after a victim turns it on. There's a cooldown applied to the switch, similar to generators and car batteries. So in the last weeks, the community was really thinking about how can we improve the fuse box. And the best solution me and a lot of other people came up with was the ability of the family to remove the fuse out of the fuse box and destroy it, or like make it disappear. This would balance the whole thing out pretty well in my opinion. So what they did now, they added a cooldown timer to the fuse box so that it can be turned off again. I don't really know what they mean by that. Do you turn off the handle and then it cannot be turned on again for a short amount of time? Do you have to hold the button and it takes like 30 seconds to turn it back on? Or can we even close the thing back up, like completely? How exactly does this work? Because the way it is right now, they solve the puzzle and turn the switch. After it has reset, they can just come back to the fuse box and just turn it on again in like 1 second. And the way I understand it is that the victim has to go there again and hold a button for like 30 seconds to turn that shit on again. So let's be patient and let's see how it plays out in the game tonight. And if you don't want to miss any more news, updates and leaks on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate that. Also let me know in the comments down below what are your thoughts about today's update. And next up is another really important change of this update. It's the family stun immunity. So they had to find a way to tweak the stun mechanic in a way that it cannot be used for bullying anymore. So they came up with this family stun immunity, and the family now has 10-second stun immunity period after an initial stun ends. There's no stun immunity after a family member is stunned by a victim bursting out of a hiding place. If you attempt to stun a family member who has immunity, you will not see the prompt for Leland's ability or backstab. If you attempt to stun a family member who has immunity with a door slam, it will have no effect. Close encounters all vary in duration due to the family members having different stun recovery times, and therefore the immunity period is different for each. Alright, so this sounds really promising. Okay, but what does it mean for a door slam? After you get stunned by a door, right after the stun ends, you get a 10-second stun immunity period. If you try to stun you with the door again, you will not get stunned, And if they try to stab you, they cannot stab you at all. This is the way for victims also to see if a family member is stun resistant or not, because there's no option to stun them at all. So this stun immunity period I think is really good, and it will make it so that people are gonna be wanting to play Leatherface again without having to fear being chain stunned all the time and bullied by the victims. And again, the door stunning in my opinion is fine and it should be there, but it should just be used like to escape the family, and the way it should not be used is to bully the family instead. And I hope that this update will fix the problem. And combined with the next change, this will hopefully work. So we got the Taekwondo perk levels reduced. So the Taekwondo is a perk that prolongs the stun of a door slam. So the levels before this nerf used to be 12 seconds, 14 seconds and 16 seconds stun. And now they cut that in half. So this is a huge nerf and a really good change in my opinion. And I'm really happy about this nerf. Alright, next perk that's been nerfed is the Agitator perk. The perk Agitator was the perk when you stab Grandpa and you have this perk level 3, Grandpa would lose 4 levels. And this was pretty high. And now they reduced it to 1.5, 2 and 2.5 level reduction. And now this perk looks way more balanced, and I think this is a reasonable amount. Alright, next we got stealth performance in minigames. We have adjusted the amount of noise generated in gathering minigames when at full stealth. So previously you would just need about 40 stealth to just spam everything and don't make any noise. And they didn't want it that way. So they've adjusted it to where there's now a noticeable difference between having 40 stealth and 50 stealth. So basically you will have to put more points in stealth if you want to spam the buttons. And also you would have to be more careful in general. And the way I understand it, if you now have 50 points in stealth, you will not be able to spam, for example, the toolbox without making noise. So you would still have to be a little careful. But this is controversial as well, because most of the people just spam the button anyway, and they don't really care if they make noise or not. So what I want to see in future updates is that they reward stealth more and punish the rushing even more as well. So that people actually play the game stealthy, how it's intended to be. And lastly, we got the Leland stun ability duration nerf. They have adjusted the stun duration upgrades for Leland's lifesaver ability. And by adjusted, they probably mean they reduced it. Why are they not saying reduced or enhanced? So in my opinion, it probably got reduced. So it's going to be a nerf for Leland as well. And they're also saying that they will shift away from weekly patching. We're probably not going to see any weekly patches anymore. And they're saying they will roll out a patch whenever they feel necessary. So overall, I'm really happy with this patch, and it addresses a lot of game-breaking bugs and balancing changes that I really like. But how about you guys? Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts about those updates. Do you agree with them or not? And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button and also subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any future videos on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I see you guys in the next one. Peace.